2.
Well, hello again, everybody. It's wonderful to see you here in Grammie's Book Nook. I hope you had a wonderful Easter weekend. We had a very nice weekend celebrating the resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ in our house here at Grammie's Book Nook. Today, I'm going to be reading a book that I know you're going to enjoy, especially if you're like me and you like dogs. And the book is called A Dog of My Own. And this book is written by Lisa McCourt, and the illustrator of this book is a lady named Katya, Krenina. So let's get started reading our special book for today. Gotta get my reading glasses on. Okay, I think we're ready to start. Mom had barely gotten in the door when I started pleading again. This time, she flopped down on the sofa and she said, "Okay, Ben, but only if it's free and only if you do everything to take care of it. That means walking it, training it, feeding it, and I mean everything." Now, if any of you boys and girls have dogs, you know what the everything part means. My mouth dropped open. Okay? She really said okay? This was only the 1,000th time that I had begged for a dog of my own. Every time, Mom had said, no, no, no. Every time, she'd given me a different reason why it just wasn't going to work for us. Mom, I crept closer and I looked in her eyes to make sure that I wasn't hearing things. Did you say that I could have a dog? Mom hugged me. Well, now that school is out, yes, you can have one. I'd never felt so great in my life. I jumped. I yelled. My best ever wish was coming true. I forgot to show you the picture, but here's Ben, really loving his mom's choice. And here's a picture of Ben with one of his friends, and I bet he's going to tell her his exciting news. The next morning, I set off with the leash and my very best friend Kelly for Mr. Hogan's farm. Mr. Hogan's collie, Sunset, was the smartest, most beautiful dog in town, and her new litter of puppies were going fast. He was charging money for them, but I had been doing chores for him ever since he told me Sunset would be having puppies. And if I helped with the chores, he'd give me a puppy for free. But first, I had to get my mom to say yes. Kelly and I were about halfway to Mr. Hogan's when we heard our neighbor, old Mr. Ackerman, yelling in front of his yard. Oh, Mr. Ackerson seems to be troubled by something. Let's see if we can figure out what it is. "Come out here," old Mr. Ackerman hollered at a big green bush. "I'm not going to hurt you." I tapped him on the shoulder. "Is there anything that we can do?" I asked. "Oh, Ben, Kelly, I'm glad you kids are here. Crawl under there and get that scrawny dog out for me, will you? He's been running wild all around here for over a month and eating what he can from people's garbage cans. His owners must not want him anymore, and some of the neighbors have been complaining about him. So I told him that I would catch them and take him to the pound." "The pound," said Kelly. "Can't you keep him?" "I'm much too old to be taking care of a dog, and no one else wants him. His name tag says Duke, but the police say that no one's reported a missing dog. It's easy to see that his owners treated him badly. He's afraid of just about everything. He's the most nervous dog I've ever seen in my whole entire life. I looked under the bush and saw two big scared eyes staring back at me. I didn't even have time to think about what I did next. Please don't take him to the pound, I said. I'll take care of him myself. What would you want with such a creature as that? Mr. Ackerman said. Well, he's scared. He's scared of his own shadow. He won't let people touch him. He couldn't protect you or even an ant. It looks like Kelly and Ben have had some success in coaxing the little dog out from the bush. Like I said, I'll take him, sir, I repeated. I knew my mom would understand. Well, if you want him, then he's yours, said old man Ackerman. But if I see him running wild again, I'm going to have to take him to the pound like I promised the folks I'd do. Good luck getting him out from under that bush. And old Mr. Ackerman slowly made his way back to his house. Kelly and I got down on our bellies and stared at Duke. Then we stared at each other, and then back at Duke again. I'd had my heart set for months on one of Sunset's puppies, but how could I let this poor dog end up in the pound? You just have to take him, said Kelly. He needs you. And I knew that she was right. It wasn't easy to get the leash on Duke. He slunk down and scampered deeper and deeper under the bush whenever I got close to him. Finally, Kelly and I cornered him and snapped the leash around his collar. His heart raced way too fast as he looked at me with his big chocolate-colored eyes. I gently stroked his head. It's gonna be okay now, I whispered. You're going to be safe with me. Uh-oh. It looks like they're having a little bit of trouble training Duke. Walking Duke home was a disaster. At first, he wouldn't budge, and Kelly and I had to use all of our combined strength to pull him along the side of the road. Then he lunged ahead so fast, I thought he'd choke himself. Whenever a car passed, he whirled behind me in fear, wrapping his leash around and around my legs until we were both completely stuck. It wasn't the way I'd always imagined walking my dog. I think Duke enjoyed it in the bushes because I can see he's trying to go back in there again where he feels safe. But let's see what happens. Kelly's mom took care of me whenever my mom was working, so she was the first to meet Duke and hear the story about why we took him. Oh my, was all Kelly's mother could say. She made a hamburger for us to give Duke and put some water in a bowl for him. But the second I took his leash off, Duke raced to a row of blackberry bushes in the backyard, and Kelly and I had to run after him as he hid himself deep in the stickery blackberry bushes. It was tight, but I crawled under just enough to pull Duke out. I dragged him to his food, and I held him firmly in front of him. I tried to comfort him by petting his head, but his eyes were big and scared, and his tail didn't wag. When I thought maybe he was relaxed enough to eat, I let him go, and zoom! He raced right back into his spot under the stickery blackberry bushes. For hours, Kelly and I talked softly to Duke. I laid down on the ground so that I could reach my hand far enough to stroke his trembling side. It wasn't the way I'd always imagined spending the day with my dog. Now, let's see. Ben's with his mom. Let's see what this is going to turn out to be like. Soon, Mom was home, and she was calling me in for dinner. But I was afraid to leave Duke. "I'll stay with him for a while you eat," Kelly said. While I set the table, I told Mom all about my day. "Well, a dog like that's going to take a lot of love and a lot of patience," said Mom. "You would have had a much easier time with one of Sunset's puppies." "Well, Mom," I said, I couldn't just leave Duke. He needs me more. Mr. Hogan will find good homes for his puppies, but Duke might never have a good home if I hadn't have come along." After dinner, I looked for Kelly. She was hiding behind a tree a few feet away from Duke, watching him. "What are you doing?" I asked Kelly. "Shh, quiet," she said. I looked under the bushes, and Duke was eating. Kelly had brought the hamburger and water and left it under the bush for him. "If you get too close, he won't eat," she said. So I hid behind the tree, too. "Thanks, Kelly," I whispered. "That was a great idea." Oh, it looks like Duke came out. He's going to see his new home now. When he finished eating, I pulled Duke out and dragged him into the house. He trembled in my arms, and when I let go, he scampered under the washstand. Mom looked at him and shook her head. "Well, he's not going to win any beauty contest," she said. "Well, beauty isn't everything," I told her. "Duke is smart and loyal and very brave. At least he will be when he stops being so scared." "Mom, why is he so afraid of me? I would never hurt Duke. Can't he tell that?" "Duke has probably had a very hard life," Mom said. "It won't be easy for him to trust people again. The best you can do for a little dog like that is to give him as much love as you've got and as much time as he needs." I think that's very good advice. Oh my goodness. Now Duke is hiding under the desk. I knew I had plenty of love for Duke. I pulled him out from under the washstand and brought him to my room. I wanted him to sleep on my bed, but he just wedged himself between my desk and the wall and watched my every move with those big, brown, worried eyes. Now Kelly and Ben are outside, and somebody's walking by with a beautiful collie dog. For the next few weeks, nothing changed with Duke. He still ran and hid whenever he got the chance. He still wouldn't eat if he thought anyone was watching. He still never once barked or played or even wagged his tail. Twice a day, I put his leash on him and tried to take him for a walk. But every tiny little noise, every passing car, or even a falling leaf made him really scared. He was scared to death. One day, as Kelly and I were doing our best to walk Duke, we saw Bart Morrison. Bart was walking the collie pup his family had bought from Sunset's litter. The puppy was prancing along like she knew just how wonderful and special she was. And when she saw Duke, she playfully barked and pulled Bart over toward us. Poor Duke just about fell over from fear. He wedged himself between my legs and trembled uncontrollably as the two walked by. "Ha ha! Nice dog you've got there," snickered Bart as he passed. "Well, you just bet he is. He's better than your dog any day," Kelly shouted. Bart just laughed and took off running with his cinnamon-colored, fluffy, perfect collie. "Come on, Brandy. Come on, girl," he coached as they happily ran off toward the park. I followed them with my eyes until they were just a speck. What a great dog that Brandy was. The kind of dog that I could have owned. I wonder if he's having second thoughts about taking Duke when he could have had such a beautiful dog like Brandy. But he seems to really love his little puppy, so we'll just keep reading. I sighed and reached down to try to untangle Duke from my legs. Something warm and wet softly brushed my hand. "He licked me! Duke licked me!" "Kelly, did you see that?" I shouted. "Duke licked my hand. He trusts me now. He loves me." I got Duke's leash untangled. He still looked scared and worried, but there was something else in his chocolatey eyes. Something a little like hope. After that lick, I knew Duke was worth waiting for. I stopped thinking about Sunset's puppies and what mine might have been like, and I just thought about loving my own dog, Duke. Oh my goodness, he's so cute. He still looks a little nervous to me though. As the weeks went by, I got pretty used to the way Duke liked things. I stopped trying to get him to act the way I wanted him to act and started accepting him just the way he was. I even put soft pillows in all of his favorite safe spots so he could hide out in comfort. Well, it seems like the neighborhood children are really getting attached to our friend Duke. They're all playing in the yard, and I see someone strange peeking over the fence. I wonder what that's all about. Then, one day, when Kelly and I were playing in her backyard, Kelly's mom brought a man out back to look at the fence that needed to be fixed. When we heard the bark, we all looked around confused. It was such an unfamiliar sound that we'd never even heard and never even thought about hearing. And it was coming from Duke. Then, sure enough, Duke slowly inched out of his favorite spot under the blackberry bushes. His bark was hesitant and unsteady at first, but as he got closer to the stranger, it got louder and louder. "Woof, woof, woof!" Duke commanded as he took 2 steps forward and then 1 step back. "Woof, woof, woof!" "He's protecting us," I said. I put my arms around Duke and stroked his fur. "Good boy," I told him. "You're a good dog." It was the first time we had ever heard Duke bark. Well, look at that. There's Duke and Ben snuggling. I really love that. That night, with Duke crouched in his usual corner by my desk, I stretched out on the floor to read a book. I saw Duke peeking out at me, and then slowly, Ever so slowly, he crept out and kept getting closer and closer to my side of the room. Finally, he lay down right beside me, gently leaning his warm body against my leg and resting his chin on my thigh. His tail was going thump, thump, thump against the carpet. I gently stroked his head until the lids of his liquidy chocolate brown eyes peacefully drooped and closed. This is the last page. Right then and there, I knew that there was no better dog in the whole wide universe anywhere. Duke still needed love, and he still needed time, but he was getting braver and happier every single day. I'll give you all the love and time in the world, I whispered to my very own dog as he trustingly drifted off to sleep at my side. I think that's a lovely story. It just goes to show you a dog doesn't have to be a beautiful dog or a dog that you see in a dog show. When you give your heart to an animal, they become so beautiful to you. And it doesn't really matter what they look like. They're just very special friends and companions. And you know what? When I was reading this story, I remembered a song that I used to sing when I was a little girl. And some of you might know this song. And if you do know this song, then I'm going to say, sing along. Because when you sing, it lifts your heart. It makes your heart feel really good. And when your heart is feeling good, it makes you smile. And this is the funny thing about smiles. They're hard to keep to yourself. They're very contagious. So try to put something happy into your heart each day so that you're wearing a smile so that when you see other people, they'll get a smile as well. And pretty soon, everyone everywhere is going to be smiling. And how exciting would that be? So are you ready? If you know it, sing along. How much is that doggy in the window? Woof, woof. The one with the waggly tail. How much is that doggy in the window? Woof, woof. I do hope that doggy's for sale. I must take a trip to California and leave my poor sweetheart alone. If he had a dog, he won't be lonesome, and the doggy would have a good home. Okay, how much is that doggy in the window? Woof, woof. The one with the waggly tail. How much is that doggy in the window? I do hope that doggy's for sale. I don't want a bunny or a kitty, and I don't want a parrot who talks, and I don't want a pair of little goldfish, 'cause you can't take a goldfish for walks. Come on now, how much is that doggy in the window? Woof, woof. The one with the waggly tail. How much is that doggy in the window? Woof, woof. I do hope that doggy's for sale. Well, my goodness, that brought back a lot of happy memories from when I was a little girl. And I hope that you liked that song as much as I did. So, before we close today, I have some friends that I would really like to say hello to. I want to say a special hello to my friend Julia and her mom Amanda and her brother Lucas. And I also want to say a special hello to Christina and Logan. And I want to say hello to Addie and to Carter. And if I don't know your names, you can send me a little email and let me know that you're watching, and I'll make sure that I say hello to you on another day. So you know how we always close our time together here at Grammie's Book Nook. So come on, let's get those sleeves rolled up because we're going to sing our hand washing song as a reminder of how very important it is to stay scrubbed up, not touch our faces, and to make good choices. So is everybody ready? Okay, here we go, sing along. We're gonna wash those germs away, strong and healthy every day. We make wise choices so we stay well, gonna wash those germs away. We're gonna wash those germs away, strong and healthy every day. We make wise choices so we stay well, we're gonna wash those germs away. We make wise choices in every way, we're gonna wash those germs away. Okay. I loved sharing this little bit of time with you today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I want to continue hearing what a great job you're doing with your online studies. It makes me so happy when I hear from your parents and your teachers how well you're doing. And if you adults are watching, I want to let you know how much I enjoyed having you here, and I hope that I put a little smile in your heart. So until the next time, bye-bye. See you soon.